12 News starts now.
Welcome everyone to 12 News at 7. I'm Tram Mai. We are tracking new storm activity moving into the valley and state tonight. But in some parts of the state, they are still dealing with the effects of the last storm. In Yavapai County, 2 women had to be rescued from floodwaters. 12 News journalist Sean Rice is live from Camp Verde. And Sean, it's been quite an eventful day for that rescue crew.
Yeah, Tram, good evening to you. It certainly has. In total, 9 members of the Verde Search and Rescue Team. They ventured out early this morning. They are an all-volunteer group, but they hiked deep into the Clear Creek Mountains here behind me in Yavapai County in search of 2 19-year-old girls. We're told those girls planned an overnight hike and left on Thursday morning into the mountains, but they quickly underestimated the weather and floodwaters were about to sweep them away before these first responders got to them. Let's take you to video now of what this looks like. We're told Yavapai County deputies, these members of the Verde Search and Rescue Team, and a DPS ranger all ventured on foot and by helicopter into the mountains east of Camp Verde at 6 this morning in search of those women. They shared video of the steep terrain they were hiking in. We're told it was a long descent into the cavernous Clear Creek Mountains. The 2 women, they intended to go on that overnight hike, but we were told that they were surprised by how fast the water levels at the bottom of the canyon rose, and they could not find their way back to safety. Now, because of the severe weather, these crews couldn't reach them until Saturday morning. That's when a DPS helicopter found them and airlifted them to safety. This afternoon, I spoke with Tim Anderson and Jennifer Brailer. They are 2 members of that 9-person search and rescue team. They say making rescues like this one this morning is all a part of their call to service, saving others from danger.
It was a wonderful feeling knowing that they were safe, because not all of our rescues end that way. So tremendously wonderful feeling. They're safe. They're going to be back with their parents. We did all that we could, and we helped. We were a part of helping save them.
And the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office tells 12 News both these girls were wet, cold, and of course incredibly scared after nearly 48 hours in the mountains on their own. But overall, we're told they are okay after this scary trek. We're told their families have expressed extreme gratitude to the first responders who no doubt saved their life. And of course, when severe weather hits like it is this weekend, Yavapai County search and rescue teams and those all across the state are incredibly busy making rescues just like this one. Today, we were told their recommendation is to check the forecast and be prepared of what weather you may face before you venture out on a hike. And of course, bring more than the amount of supplies that you think you'll need, because those could ultimately save your life. We're live this evening in Yavapai County. Sean Rice, 12 News.
Sean, I got to say, you know, there's a couple astonishing things about this story. First of all, the fact that this is an all-volunteer rescue team and how dedicated they are. The fact that these girls survived almost 2 days on their own. I mean, how frightening for them. And just the steep terrain it took for them to be found.
Yeah, Tram, it's incredible. Those videos that we showed you predominantly were all sent to us by the 9-member team of the search and rescue crews who were out there. They filmed all of that themselves, and you can just see how steep it was. I want to point out the sacrifice that these folks make. This was not their only rescue today. They went on multiple additional rescues here in Yavapai County. They've so far trained 8,500 hours just this year alone to prepare for exactly what they had to do here today. And as I mentioned, they no doubt saved these young women's life.
That is truly, truly incredible. They truly are heroes. Sean, thank you for that great story.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we are bringing you team coverage as we track more rain chances for you. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley and Chris Dunn. They're both here. Lindsay, we're going to start with you. What's it looking like for tonight?
Well, we are looking at round 2. It's going to be very similar to what we had last night, including the timing of these showers that are expected to roll in closer to midnight tonight. Hour by hour, we're going to be mostly dry in the valley through 9 o'clock, and then those storm chances will begin to go up. So notice 40% 50% by 1 a.m., 60% by 5, and we're going to keep these storm chances around through about noon tomorrow. So it's going to be a wet start to the day. Now up in the high country, drier air is beginning to move on in. We do have the slight chance for a couple showers across northern Arizona during the overnight, but the main focus now is going to be from the Phoenix metro area and down to the south and east. So this is a look at our excessive rain risk over the next day. Moderate risk for additional flooding, mainly down toward the Tucson area, parts of Cochise and Graham counties. So this is where we have the highest potential for some flooding. Some of these thunderstorms could produce rainfall rates of about 1 inch per hour. We've also seen a couple severe thunderstorm warnings down near Tucson tonight. So here's a look at the radar, and you can see actually skies have cleared quite a bit on satellite up in northern Arizona. We still have some cloud cover here over the lower deserts, but the most active radar right now is southeastern Arizona, and this is going to be the area that sees the most showers over the next 24 hours. So most active radar down near Safford, Wilcox, as well as Tucson. When we put the warnings on here, you notice we have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings around Wilcox, Safford, and northeast of Tucson. These storms are pretty fast moving out of the northeast at about 30 miles an hour, and some are capable of producing gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Pretty clear up in northern Arizona tonight. Here's our Phoenix rain chances over the next couple of days. So you can see our storm chances after Monday start to taper off. The second half of the week a lot drier. As we look ahead to tomorrow in Phoenix, we're going to see those storms mostly after midnight, and then you can see hour by hour it is going to be a soggy morning tomorrow, keeping the clouds but drying out for the afternoon. Meteorologist Chris Dunn standing by, and he has a look at the rain totals that we've seen so far and what we can expect additionally.
Yeah, Lindsay, some pretty healthy totals across the valley from earlier this morning. Tempe with over an inch in Chandler. Paradise Valley 1.42 inches, about a ½ inch of rain in Peoria and Surprise. Laveen at 3900s. Maricopa 1.26, and in the East Valley, yes, you win. Fountain Hills, Apache Junction, 8300s, and 1.06 in Mesa. So everybody getting in on the rain earlier today. Even Sky Harbor Airport. How often did we tell you during the monsoon? Yeah, it rained about every place else except for the airport. No, the airport got it today. 0.70 since midnight. And that's a record for today. The previous record, 0.31. That was back in 1928, almost 100 years ago. That comes after records in Flagstaff, Winslow, and Prescott yesterday, blowing away those rainfall records. So that kind of tells you that this is a little unusual to get this kind of rain at this time of the year. Typically after the monsoon, things kind of level out, and we have about a ½ inch of rain on average for October and November before we get into the Pacific storm season. So it's not typically a really rainy time of the year, and we are expecting more. This takes us through Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and we're looking at an additional approximately about a ½ inch of rain across the valley. That's for Sunday, and then Sunday night into Monday, more rain on top of that. So we could see an additional rain amount of 1 inch on top of what we have already seen so far. Here are the 3-day totals, and some of the biggest totals from Glendale, Tempe, and Cave Creek, about 1.5 inches. Maricopa 1.26, and Mesa with 1.14. And as mentioned, this is kind of the time of the year where we hit the monsoon, and then after the monsoon, we kind of level out here. So it's a drier time of the year for us. Typically, but this is anything but typical. Estimated rainfall, most of it, the heavier stuff up here to the north of the valley and around the Flagstaff area. As mentioned yesterday, we have that record rainfall for Flagstaff, Winslow, and also some very heavy rain. It was the 4th heaviest rainfall ever recorded in Las Vegas in the month of October. So a lot of parts across the southwestern U.S. getting some unusual tropical fueled rain. We'll talk about the tropical connection and bring you your 7-day forecast a little bit later on, just a few minutes. Tram?
All right, Chris, looking forward to it. Thank you. Earlier today, it was raining on and off in parts of the valley. You probably got hit in your area yourself. Take a look at the wet roads here, though, this morning at 3:30. This was on the 60 and Priest. The rain coming down consistently for several hours. And even when the sun came up, the rain kept going. Meteorologist Jen Wall was out covering the road conditions this morning inside our 12 News weather tracker.
Guys, we're on the 101 eastbound right at 56th Street, and I want to point something out that my photographer also wanted me to share with you guys is you should be able to see the McDowell Mountains right now, right? And you cannot. I mean, we are socked in with clouds around the entire valley. Rain is coming down up here this morning. As I look out my window, I mean, the entire valley. We have such a great shot where we're driving right now is just covered in clouds.
Yeah, that is some steady rain coming down. Fortunately, though, we did not see the flooding that a lot of times happens on freeways, and there were no major accidents. But cars did have to navigate some flooding on surface streets right there. This is near 50th Street and Chandler, where cars had to not only go around, but go through a lot of that standing water. A reminder that if you come up on flooded streets or washes, the best advice, you know it by now, turn around, don't drown, just don't drive through it. This was the scene also not too far from there. This is at 48th Street and Ray. It looks like a lake there, right? But that's actually a green belt that was filled up after the heavy rain. Even the ducks, they had fun turning it into their own little swimming pond, just waddling along there. There they are. See how cute they are. Well, this is video that was taken late this afternoon around 3 p.m. in the West Valley. This is near I-10 in Bullard. And even though most of the activity was over with, we still saw some isolated downpours like that one. The cities of Globe and Miami, they saw rain today, but luckily it wasn't the deadly flooding that they had 2 weeks ago. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with people who've been preparing for this storm for days.
The rain in Globe started early Saturday morning, creating some flooding on the streets, but nothing as severe as what they just went through. Many, including Tom Haynes, are hoping it stays this way.
Just put some sandbags across the front of the yard.
He's lived in Globe for 20 years and saw just how devastating the last flood was right from his front yard.
It was like it was almost a river right here. The street was just flowing.
He says he was lucky. His home made it out unscathed, but across the street, a different story. Several homes have been condemned from the last storm. Just check out this one right here with red tape surrounding it saying danger, keep out. There's a notice on the window that says it's unsafe, that the foundation has actually been compromised. And again, this is just one of many homes on the stretch of road that have been deemed unsafe.
And I felt a little guilty because I'm sitting here okay, and everybody else, I'm watching all my neighbors have to move, and all their things getting destroyed. And
a few shops downtown remain closed and also condemned, like this one right next to Cheryl Gates's thrift shop. As some of that water started to make its way toward them once again, they are keeping their sandbags stacked, praying for the best.
I don't need it again.
We are pretty confident. We're okay here, but we worry about our neighbors and worry about the restaurants.
We're in Globe. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Thank goodness it wasn't too bad this time around. Well, up in Flagstaff, crews have been working throughout the day to help keep those roads clear and neighborhoods safe. 12 News reporter Kyle Simchuk shows us how the city is handling the flood risk and what's still ahead.
Well, early this morning, we drove around. We were surprised to see that neighborhoods were in really good shape just based on how hard it rained last night. It seemed like it never stopped. But people here in Flagstaff understand that they're not out of the woods yet when it comes to flooding, with several days of rain ahead in the forecast.
Flagstaff is used to snow, but several straight days of soaking rain in the forecast.
It's just kind of crazy because you don't think of Arizona as getting a lot of rain. But I'm kind of enjoying it.
By Friday evening, the rain came down hard and steady, turning streets slick and flooding low spots across town.
Flood watches are definitely scary. I know how fast conditions can change, so definitely keeping an eye on it.
Overnight, the city's streets department worked to keep up. This underpass along Route 66 filled with so much water that ADOT had to shut it down. Workers tried to use shovels to clear storm drains, but eventually brought in a front-end loader to scoop water away one load at a time.
That's a creative solution as far as I'm concerned. Front-end loader.
The weather is changing very quickly up here. It's just after 11 in the morning. The sun is out. We can now see blue sky.
Flagstaff has some flooding issues, but we're working on it.
The city is offering free sandbags at Thorpe Park. You just have to fill them yourself. We found plenty of them surrounding homes near the burn scar of the 2019 museum fire, an area prone to flooding.
Now we're outside of Flagstaff City Hall, and I want to show you something we just found. This is the Rio de Flag Flood Control Project. Now, this is designed to reduce flooding in neighborhoods by redirecting water, and as you can see, it's doing its job right now. Only question is how much more water is going to be coming through here.
The older houses that are next to the Rio de Flag lower down, yeah, if there's like an actual flood, they're in trouble. Yeah, but that's like more like a 100-year flood type deal, so I don't think we're there yet.
I think the only place that's going to get bad flooding necessarily is like Donny Park. They get the worst of everything.
And with more rain on the way, everyone here is hoping the worst of everything doesn't find its way into their neighborhood. In Flagstaff, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
He gave us all a hug and he just left, and we didn't get to get his name, his number.
A stranger in the night may be a hero, but no one knows who he is or where he went. Firefighters say they would like to talk to that man who woke up a Chandler family while their house was on fire Friday morning. 12 News journalist Joe Dana has the dramatic video of the rescue.
Stay right there, boys. Go with him. Go with him.
By all accounts, he's a guardian angel. This stranger waking up the Casada family just before 4 in the morning in this Chandler neighborhood.
So when I heard the banging, I kind of got scared. I didn't know who was banging on our door.
Lillian Casada and her husband and kids credit the man for saving them.
We don't know who the civilian was, but we're so grateful for him.
Early Friday, the fourplex where the family lives caught fire while everyone was asleep. The family got out fast, and there wasn't much time. Sparks can be seen in the doorway where the family escapes.
Thank you.
In the aftermath, some of the rooms are gutted, burned by the fire, walls and ceilings destroyed, where firefighters had to punch holes to do their job.
All their toys are burnt, literally. The crib, the baby's crib, burnt.
The family and their 2 kids are staying nearby with a relative. How the fire started is not known. Firefighters believe it began in the back patio. The heat so intense, this light fixture, now a tragic work of art.
He's shaking. It's okay, baby.
Everyone is traumatized, but safe. The Casadas will leave behind this home as a rental. This family motto hung on their wall now has new meaning. Eventually, home will be somewhere new.
Look, babe.
Wherever they end up, the family takes with them memories of a stranger. There for them in the most dangerous moment of their lives.
He was just making sure we were all safe, and I think he was like in a rush to go to work. I'm not sure what happened, but he gave us all a hug and he just left, and we didn't get to get his name, his number.
Joe Dana, 12 News.
Oh, hopefully he'll come back. Wow, that is truly so sad for them. Well, we are learning more about a deadly shooting in Chandler. This is under investigation tonight. Police say that it happened around 9 o'clock Friday night near Warner and McQueen Roads after a dispute between 2 people. Officers found 19-year-old Daniel Sablaski shot. He was rushed to the hospital but did not survive his injuries. Detectives later arrested 2 men, 19-year-old Mateo Bynum and 19-year-old Tanu Tanami Richards, both now facing second-degree homicide charges. The investigation is still ongoing. Phoenix police are investigating a deadly shooting after a man was killed while breaking into his ex-girlfriend's apartment. Officers were called to the area near 32nd Street and Southern Avenue just before midnight on Friday. Police say the woman told officers she shot her ex-boyfriend after he forced his way into her home. He later died at the hospital. Detectives say the couple had recently ended their relationship. The woman was released from police custody as the investigation continues. In national news tonight, no one is believed to have survived a powerful explosion at an explosives plant in Tennessee as crews continue to recover remains from the blast site. NBC's Kathy Park has more.
Officials telling us today there are no survivors after a massive blast that was reported Friday morning just before 8 a.m. at this explosives plant in Middle Tennessee. The ATF is here on the ground. They are processing the scene. They say that it's going to be a slow and methodical process because of the pressure from this blast, also the heat. So there is a possibility that residents of the area can hear more detonations. Meanwhile, the sheriff gave us an update and he was visibly emotional. Take a listen.
You know, we got communities here. Sheriff Kraft and I both on both sides have communities that have been truly devastated. It's tremendous loss.
At least 18 people are still unaccounted for, and officials are leaning on DNA technology to identify the victims. We should also note that the blast was just so intense, the force was actually felt for miles. Officials are saying, though, that the site is secure. Back to you.
Well, former President Joe Biden has started radiation therapy as part of his treatment for prostate cancer. A source says he began the treatment a few weeks ago. Earlier this spring, Biden announced that he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that had spread to his bones. Shortly after being diagnosed, Biden said that he started a pill regimen to treat the cancer. Biden also underwent an operation to remove skin cancer lesions last month. Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton has died at 79 years old. Keaton was known for her iconic roles in Annie Hall and The Godfather. Stephanie Elam has a look back at her life and legendary career.
Skilled at both drama and comedy, Diane Keaton was one of Hollywood's most enduring actresses. Born Diane Hall, the LA native landed her first major roles in Broadway productions like Hair and Woody Allen's Play It Again, Sam, a role she later reprised on the big screen.
You always think of baseball players when you're making love?
But it was another Woody Allen romantic comedy that launched her into stardom, Annie Hall.
Oh, why? You got a car?
The 1977 classic was loosely based on her relationship with Allen and showcased her quirky personality and style. It also earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress.
Annie Hall gave me everything. Annie Hall gave me the opportunity to do all the things that I've been privileged to do.
She was Allen's muse in several of his other films, including Interiors and Manhattan.
You know, you've got a good sense of humor.
Keaton made her mark in dramas as well. She played Kay Adams, the wife of mob boss Michael Corleone, in the iconic Godfather films.
There would be no way, Michael. No way you could ever forgive me.
I think that she was not a typical mafia wife. That's the problem. She didn't fit. She was the wrong fit. And I thought that that was what was interesting about my part. I remember always the door being shut in my face.
Keaton also gave a powerful performance in the dark, violent Looking for Mr. Goodbar and earned Oscar nominations for her work with then-boyfriend Warren Beatty in Reds and opposite Meryl Streep in the family drama Marvin's Room.
God, are you that old?
Keaton turned to lighter fare in later years, starring in comedies like Father of the Bride, The First Wives Club, and Something's Gotta Give.
He knew that I was still in love with you.
Off-screen, Keaton's attire generated buzz and made her a fashion icon and influencer. Her self-styled, gender-bending wardrobe first grabbed attention in Annie Hall and often featured men's ties, suits, vests, thick belts, and hats. And while she had relationships with a few of her famous co-stars, Keaton never married. She did adopt 2 children in her 50s, and in addition to acting, directed TV shows, wrote best-selling memoirs, and pursued her passions of photography and preserving historic buildings. Diane Keaton, a Hollywood original who brought her unique, unconventional style to a host of unforgettable roles.
Truly unforgettable. Well, we want to get back to our forecast now. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley joins us. And Lindsay, this much needed rain could be sticking around for days?
Yeah, at least into the early part of the week. And what we saw last night, we're generally going to be seeing a repeat performance overnight tonight. The rain showers, they're going to increase in coverage again right around midnight, and they're going to take us through lunchtime tomorrow. So that's the time frame for the next batch of rain. And then overall, we could be seeing some more showers even into Monday. Not too bad on the radar right now. In fact, northern Arizona seeing a clearing sky, but we're not done yet. Although the heaviest precipitation over the next 24 hours will reside over southeastern Arizona. We've had 3 severe thunderstorm warnings in that area right now. Gusts within some of those storms up to about 60 miles per hour. On top of that, they're moving on the fast side to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Pretty quiet up in northern Arizona right now, but we're going to take you through the rest of the weekend into early part of the week with our Futurecast model. So as we get closer to midnight tonight, you're going to begin to see more showers developing over the lower deserts, including Phoenix. So we will have some heavy downpours, few rumbles of thunder. Here's 1 a.m. and you can see some of that extending out through Gila County as well as the White Mountains. 6 a.m. some heavy thunderstorm action around the valley. You can see the reds there right over Phoenix. And then as we get closer to noon, that axis of precipitation will begin to sink to the southeast. So weather's going to be very active tomorrow southeast of the valley, down towards Safford, Tucson, and the Wilcox area. That's where we could see some additional flooding. But we're not done even after that batch moves out, because notice what happens as we get toward tomorrow night. 9 p.m. a few more showers begin to emerge over the lower desert. So this is yet another surge of moisture. And then as we get to Monday morning, 3 a.m., more showers and storms. So we're looking at round 3 here in Phoenix, and some of these showers will linger into Monday afternoon, and then we'll finally see a break Tuesday and Wednesday. But this is Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A lot of rain across eastern Arizona as well as the Phoenix area. So that's what we have to look forward to over the next 48 hours or so. Tomorrow, it'll be a little bit sunnier further north, but we're going to be seeing a lot of cloud cover tomorrow. Rain through about lunchtime. After lunchtime, we'll see a break, but then you just saw more rain on Monday. As for dew points, they're going to be very slow to go down. We've been seeing dew points in the tropical range, being that we have tropical system impacting our weather. For more on that, we're going to head over to meteorologist Chris Dunn with a look at those current dew points right now.
Yeah, Lindsay, all you have to do is just step outside and you can feel it right away. Boom, it hits you. Air you can wear. 65-degree dew point in Phoenix, a 74-degree dew point in Gila Bend. This is more than we would typically see during the peak of the monsoon. So there's a really juicy air mass in place. That's fuel for showers and thunderstorms. Just one ingredient. We need a couple of other ingredients to come together. And as Lindsay just showed you, it does look like things are going to come together again. A couple of different times in the next 36 to 48 hours or so. Temps right now, 81 in Phoenix, 72 with some thunder action around Tucson. To the north, 55 in Flagstaff and 84 Lake Havasu City. We do have a weather impact alert continuing into tomorrow. The primary threat is going to be overnight tonight into the morning hours. The showers will redevelop by early Sunday morning. And we're looking at locally heavy rain, a possibility. A flood watch remains in effect for the valley through tomorrow evening. With that tropical connection in place, we've had the remnants of Priscilla kind of already move over us and scoot off into New Mexico. Now we're looking at the remnants of Raymond, which is just down here. This is a tropical depression at this point, and this will likely be the last advisory issued for this as things are winding down rather rapidly. But again, just like with Priscilla, a lot of the tropical moisture with this is riding up to the north, and it's meeting up with an area of low pressure off the California coast. So the two are kind of joining forces, and will add a little extra lift to the atmosphere. That's another ingredient we need for showers and thunderstorms. This is Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. The green here is that deeper tropical moisture, and it's still residing over southern Arizona. But as we go through time, in Monday and into Tuesday, this low kind of takes over a deeper low pressure system. So that'll increase the wind, especially across northern Arizona, but also scour out that humidity and bring in some drier air. And also some cooling, holding our afternoon temperatures down to right around 80 degrees for the balance of the week. Overnight and into tomorrow morning, a weather impact alert, locally heavy rain. We're looking at an additional ½ inch to an inch of what we have already had. So make sure you have a way to get warnings, maybe on your smartphone. Tonight, down to 74, tomorrow 91. Morning rain showers, a pretty good bet, and another chance for those showers into Monday with the clearing trend for the rest of the week. And that takes us into our Valley 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, we have that weather impact alert, 86, a 70% chance, mainly morning showers, 50% on the rain chance for Monday. But then the trend for sunshine, that'll take hold on Wednesday through Saturday. And look at those afternoon highs with the morning lows right around 60, afternoon highs right around 80 degrees. Tram?
We're not Not complaining, Chris. Thank you so much. Today marks day 11 now of the federal government shutdown. And while hundreds of thousands of federal workers are not getting a paycheck, President Trump announced today his administration has found money to pay the military. The president said service members will receive a paycheck on October 15th. A spokesperson for the Office of Management and Budget said that the funds to pay the military will come from research and development money in the Pentagon's budget. That money is available for 2 years. The president had previously promised service members would still be paid during the government shutdown. A court filing shows more than 4,000 federal employees received layoff notices Friday as the government remained shut down. The Department of Health and Human Services was one of the departments that saw the highest number of reductions. The filing said more than 1,000 workers were laid off. The filing was part of a lawsuit brought by 2 federal employee unions who are seeking to stop the layoffs. But sources say some of the staffers who received reduction in force notifications worked at the CDC. In a statement, an HHS spokesperson said all HHS employees who received the notices were designated non-essential by their respective divisions. Well, Saturday Night Live welcomes back one of its alums to host this week. Amy Poehler will be taking the reins with Role Model as the musical guest. Mark Barker has a preview.
I thought I was coming into this building to get a mammogram, and it turns out I'm hosting. Oopsie.
A number of new faces welcome Amy Poehler as she returns to SNL this weekend.
You can feel through them the feeling of like trying new things and it being new.
Poehler certainly knows the routine as a longtime cast member and frequent visitor, but this is just her second time hosting solo.
It's like walking into your old high school. Like, it smells the same, the teachers have changed, the students seem young, and you can't believe you were ever that young. It's that kind of vibe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Poehler!
I insist on that during all of my interviews.
Poehler's doing her own interviews these days.
Do you remember when we first met?
As host of her Good Hang podcast.
I feel that that's the vibe. When a good conversation is that, it feels like you're sitting in on people hanging out.
Amy.
Bowen.
Role model. Bowen. Amy.
Role model.
Bowen Yang's already been hanging out with this week's musical guest. Assisting on Role Model's Tonight Show performance of Sally When the Wine Runs Out.
It was not in the books. I would never have planned or dreamt of this.
Now he gets a full dose of live television.
It's cool. It's cool to be a part of the madness here.
Mark Barker, NBC Entertainment.
And you can watch all the fun in just 3 hours. Catch Saturday Night Live after 12 news at 10. Next week's host, it's a good one, musical guest, will also be Sabrina Carpenter. Well, thanks so much for watching 12 News on 12 Plus. We hope to see you later on tonight for 12 News at 10. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay safe.